My name's Elaine Banton. I'm a barrister. I practice in employment, equality, discrimination law and human rights, and I was called to the bar in 1996. I'm also very much involved in equality and diversity in the profession. I hold a position of responsibility for equality and diversity and social mobility for the Bar Council, and I'm also involved in equality and diversity at Middle Temple, and I'm also a bencher at Middle Temple. I belong to a profession that values the rule of law, justice and equality, integrity, intellect and innovation, strength, resilience and communication. These values are important to me and I'm passionate about them. It's important that people feel that the law is accessible and represents all of society and that there is justice. It's not always perfectly reflected and we do have a lot of work to do in some of these aspects. I grew up on a council estate, and when I was 8 years old my parents divorced. But before then, by the time I was 7, I decided I wanted to be a barrister. And I remember telling my mother when I was going to Sylvia Young to do drama and tap dancing that I didn't need to go that Saturday morning because I was going to be a barrister. So I knew the difference between a solicitor and a barrister by the time I was 7. And I never gave up on my dream. I became aware of a number of issues relating to justice at quite a young age, possibly because of growing up on the estate. My mother was active in her trade union. She was a nurse, and I remember her going on strike for better terms and conditions. And when I was about 13, I helped her appeal her grade at work, and she was successfully regraded. And I also helped her colleagues to become regraded. And looking back on that time, that was my first employment law win. I did work experience with a local high street firm when I was about 15, and I carried on working with them when I was 16, 17 and 18, doing outdoor clerking work, going to court and taking notes, seeing barristers in action, talking to barristers about the cases, going to the High Court, the Royal Courts of Justice, and issuing documents and getting them stamped. It was all very good exposure and got me acclimatised to courtroom manner and also different types of advocacy that I thought worked or didn't work. I worked very hard at school and I worked hard at university when I studied law. And at the time I thought I didn't want to go to bar school at the age of 21, so I wanted to continue my studies. I went and did a master's degree in medical law and ethics, but it was taught from a human rights perspective. I really enjoyed the debates on ethics and philosophy. And at the time, I felt like I wanted to maybe do even more studies and do a PhD. But I also felt the need to go out into the real world and work. And so I went off to bar school to study further. I remember at bar school having all these interviews, and it was quite hard work at first in particular. I think I was very nervous, but towards the end of the interview season I relaxed and got more confident, and then I was offered 3 pupilages. My pupilage was really interesting. I was heavily engaged in a case that at the time was the longest running employment tribunal case, and I was led by a leading employment silk. We won the case to a lot of notoriety in the press and the media, but I didn't get taken on as a tenant. Now that was really hard for me, but I didn't give up. I persevered, and I remember that I actually won a case in the Court of Appeal before I became a tenant. And the fuss that everybody made of me really surprised me at the time because I didn't realise what a big deal that was. But looking back on it, it really was quite a thing to achieve at such an early stage in your career. But all of those challenges, the disappointment of not being taken on, it built resilience and courage within me. And all of those things have really helped me throughout my career. One aspect of my work that I really enjoy is appellate work. I've had the pleasure of appearing in many appeal cases, and I really enjoy the way that the law develops to society's needs. I enjoy the legal debate, and I've been fortunate enough to have several reported cases, including landmark cases. I'm often asked to speak publicly, whether it's a media request, TV or radio, to broadcast on a key area of law or a particular case. But I also get asked to speak to students, and I really enjoy and I'm passionate about sharing knowledge and my life experiences at the bar. And it's something that I'm honoured to do, and I'm pleased to say that I get the opportunity to do it regularly. I've learned many lessons during my career, and one of the things that's vitally important, as far as I'm concerned, is that I can be myself and that I can have confidence in myself as a black woman, as a black female barrister. It's also important to learn what distinguishes you. What is your USP? My 3 career words of wisdom are believe, challenge, and perseverance. It's so important, I think, to believe in yourself and to have confidence in your abilities. It's also really good to have perseverance, to have that resilience, to keep going, because sometimes you might have knockbacks, but you need to keep believing in yourself and be determined. And then challenge is good, because challenge is when we learn, when we're tested, and when we overcome those challenges, we build confidence and resilience. And all of those things will help you in your life and your career. I've certainly found that myself.